Hi, boys and girls. Can I have some comms on SPL so I can set levels for everybody?
Can I have a service sound speed, Bob? Thanks.
Guy Waters here, checking in.
Evening, everyone. This is Abby on site 2.
Get the what? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you gotta ignore stops or engineering, one of those. You got to pull the button down for a bit too. Oh, can you zoom out on the Hurricane? Can you zoom out on the Hurricane? Oh, it jumped in the water.
Can I have some talk on SPL for levels, please?
Hey everyone at Shoreside, this is Steven, Data Logger Chair. I'll be on the chat.
Hi, Stephen. This is Guy Waters.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. I really do.
Samantha Wishnack as navigator.
Bob Waters, Argus pilot, or Herc pilot, sorry.
Paul Glick, the other
Something.
Argus pilot. It's a shared
Whatever
job.
I'm doing.
Los Santos video engineer, 12.
Abby Powell on site 2.
All set.
Ready for control. Bumped. Roger. Roger. There we go. Looks better.
I still hear the buzz.
Oh, probably because it probably kicked the cable off.
Well, and Dan didn't do a very robust job.
Dan didn't do it.
Oh.
He abandoned the project.
What?
Oh, it is connected. You hear a buzz?
I do. Do you?
No. Uh-uh.
I hear a buzz even a little bit when you touch it, but I definitely hear it when I touch it.
I'm not hearing on mine. Are you hearing a buzz?
As long as it's not coming across on SPL.
Buzz?
It's a very, very light buzz.
I don't hear a buzz for what it's worth.
Okay. I think we just need a more robust ground on the box there.
It's softer, I think, than it was.
Yeah,
I can hear
I don't
it.
hear it, but I'm also old and deaf, so.
I have a question for Al, if it's okay to ask right now.
Sure, go ahead.
Al, should I have both Nautilus and SPL on or just SPL?
It's your discretion. SPL over the website. Most of us are listening to SPL. So if you're communicating with us and you don't mind it being on the web, SPL. If you have secrets to tell, then do it on Nautilus.
Okay.
Oh, the touchscreen does work. There's just a slight delay. A human delay.
Is the yellow bar on craft
It's hidden behind the thing. I was
like
looking at that.
perfectly?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at it before launch. Yep.
Okay. And these are in the right order, right? Like the...
I think so. You should get that.
This is the main
That's
comp.
main comp. Yeah. That was button 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Button 3 is craft. Then it's the motor and high voltage.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. If Dan's listening, I don't know what he's complaining about.
He just likes to complain.
All right, I got to step out one more time. Be right back.
He just likes to fiddle with things. Must be the porch light.
Of course, all the digital numbers we could just automate, but it's still, I mean, good to get your eyeballs on them.
Yeah. Well, it should do like the other things and give you an alert, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it already does. Like it, yeah, when we get a ground fault,
Yeah, but it doesn't like warn you about temperature, humidity, or
Yeah.
that. So.
Fair enough.
But what would you do over there if you didn't have those numbers?
Yeah, the winch we can automate with just a delta. The numbers we can automate with digital pressure sensors.
That would be weird with the servo motor, like.
Oh yeah.
Mistake. Be kind of cool, but.
Yeah. I do think that's like half the fun of the Argus pilot is just trying to fiddle and get a change of 1 or 2.
Right. School of fish back there. That's kind of neat.
Oh yeah.
Hello out there, if you're joining us. We are headed to a depth of about 1,000 meters at the Santa Lucia Bank tonight. And you've been listening to the pilots and crew discussing things as we go down. We've been followed, it looks like, by, we're being followed occasionally by anchovies, I think, that are probably attracted to the lights of the ROV. And an occasional squid, and I've seen a pyrosome go by. Anything else that you guys have seen?
That's all I've seen.
I'm waiting for something bigger to come through to scoop up the anchovies.
Yeah.
Can I enter new bottom depth? I know it doesn't matter much, but that's wrong.
What's wrong?
We're not going to 3,000 meters.
I didn't say that.
Did I say
Mine
3?
says
I
919.
meant
Yours says
1,000.
Not mine.
Huh.
No, that's the
Get your
pilots.
own mess to mess with over there.
All right.
We're going to about 1,000 meters. I hope I didn't say 3,000.
No,
And
no,
we're
you
currently.
didn't. There was just a number.
Okay, good.
We got a depth from the ship too, so they had 919.
Yeah. I think 1,000 will be the deepest we are during the dive. I think the target depth is more like what you just said.
Yep.
914. And we're currently at 360 meters. So we've got a little ways to go. But we'll be talking more about the dive as we go down, but we defer to the crew as we're descending, and they are monitoring things and need to talk to each other. So we don't want to, we want to give the airwaves to them as we're going down.
So we're 20.
Unless something
20
really
minutes,
cool shows up.
20 minutes to the bottom.
Well, I can chat a little more about the dive, and then if you guys need to speak, I'll lick my lip.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. We're this area of Santa Lucia Bank is in an area that's been nominated for National Marine Sanctuary status, so that's one of the reasons that we're here doing survey work, and we're going to be looking for coral and sponge habitats. Again, this whole series of dives in Southern California, as well as to the north, have been part of the West Coast Deep Sea Coral Initiative, as well as other initiatives where we collaborate with scientists from other agencies and are collecting and cooperating to collect samples for a number of studies. And we're going to be conducting some quantitative survey transects. We'll tell you about that when we start doing those. And then we'll be collecting coral and sponge samples for identification and DNA work, as well as water samples and sediment samples. And this dive is led by Lisa Wunick, who's with the National Marine Sanctuary West Coast Region. And Lisa actually is with us on the science chat. If you want to chime in at any time, we have an extra seat on the V-Link. There's room for 3 scientists. So most of the scientists participating in these dives are at home due to the COVID situation. Nautilus, they will be telling you more about this later, we're coming to you live via this wonderful telepresence technology that allows us to see the video at the same time you're watching, and it allows us to talk to the pilots and crew aboard the ship and vice versa, and allows us to talk to you as well, the public. And we also have a chat room where we've got scientists from all over the world at times who are participating via the chat room and typing in information and requesting samples and so on. So each of us that are on watch, as I am now with Abby Powell, are sitting at home with multiple screens up and various tabs open on our computer screens in order to fill out forms and monitor the chat and watch the video.
Hi, Di. Yeah, I've just been having a little look through at the samples that we've collected from Santa Lucia Bank already, and this is part of an ongoing effort. The past couple of years as part of Express, which was a collaborative effort between kind of NOAA and a bunch of partner agencies. During those particular cruises, we didn't have the capacity to collect any samples deeper than about 550 meters. So this is really one of the first times that we're going to be just seeing which corals and sponges are abundant at these depths. We've had one dive here. I'm just looking at the list, Di, and we picked up an unusual branching Pharea, a black coral, another glass sponge in the Tritodictidae, and then a bamboo coral by the look of it. So not a huge number of samples so far, but we were on some quite unusual, some sort of unconsolidated talus during the last dive, which didn't have as many large sort of corals and sponges as we maybe expected. So it'll be interesting to see today. We're in a different location to see what we come across.
Yeah, in the planning of this dive, maps were studied I think multi-beam bathymetry maps, and we're always looking for hard habitat to find these corals and sponges. Most of them, there are a few species that like soft sediment, but the vast majority, I'd say, of corals and sponges need hard substrate to attach to. So that's one of the things that helps us look for suitable areas. Another thing they need are adequate currents and a supply of food. So that was interesting the other night. There was plenty of rock, but I don't know, some of the other factors that are necessary for them to survive may have changed or not been present consistently enough.
Yep, and as you mentioned, we're keen to characterize these sites because this is an area that's being proposed as the Chumash National Marine Sanctuary. There's also projects in the vicinity to develop some offshore wind energy. So for all of these management kind of changes, we really need to be able to have a better picture of and an idea of what's down here.
Yeah. Lisa's dive plan also mentions that the area we'll be diving in is near an area that used to be trawled with bottom trawls, and it's possible we could encounter derelict gear. The area has been closed to bottom trawling since 2006. So something we'll be watching out for, of course.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Be watching very carefully for that one, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So we saw the word, or I saw the word interesting in the dive plan pop up quite a bit. What does interesting habitat mean to you in this dive plan for today?
Yes, so let me pull that up among my many tabs that I have open on the computer. So the other night when they were diving on the first dive here at Santa Lucia, I can't remember the name of the area,
Called it the Palm, I think.
The Palm, that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abby. Lisa would like us, if we encounter habitat similar to that, where there's rock but very few corals and sponges, she'd like us to carry on, not spend too much, pick up speed and move on to toward the next waypoint in search of better habitat. Does that make sense, Sam?
Sure does.
Okay.
Looking for densely populated corals or sponges.
Yeah. Now it looks like when we come to the bottom and we'll be ascending up a steep slope, we can do a transect there, whether or not it's interesting in single quotes, using that term. But then if it's not, we'll want to continue on at a little more quicker pace and not spend a lot of time poking around, looking for things. Yeah.
So when we get to the bottom, we'll look around, and if we decide it's interesting enough, we will start a transect there. And if it's not interesting enough, we'll keep moving towards the waypoint and reevaluate as we get closer to the waypoint if we want to do a transect.
Well, we're going to head up the slope, that first leg, and I think we will do a transect whether or not it's interesting. She said to go ahead and do a transect if it's an uninteresting, go ahead and do one, but then don't do further transects if it continues to be uninteresting.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
So, yeah.
So yeah, we'll just need a few minutes on the seafloor to get set up, and then we'll be able to start that.
In a couple
so
hundred
one of the
meters.
nice.
Okay.
In a couple hundred meters, sorry. Yes. Yeah, we're at 10 minutes. Yeah, we're at 640 meters right now.
Di, can I ask what login you're using for VLink? Is it
I think I'm Science 3B.
3B, thank you.
Yeah. And Lisa is in the chat, and she said that the dive transect is on the edge of an area where trawling has been prohibited since 2006. It is not in the no trawl zone. It's in a trawlable area. I'm a little confused by that. Let's see. She's added another comment in the chat. We'll look at the contour. As we go up, we're thinking we'll be looking for zones of corals and sponges on the way up. And if we cross one, we may target that contour for subsequent searching.
Sounds good.
Lisa says the transect is in the area where trawling is allowed. Okay. So we will proceed carefully.
Yep, it sounds like that first transect is almost just it's doing a recce. We'll note any kind of depths where it looks like there might be an interesting band of coral or sponge. One of the nice things about having the science chat is I can see that we have Guy Cochrane from the USGS, who was on the previous Santa Lucia dive as well, and was explaining that all those boulders, the little cobbles we were seeing, was kind of unconsolidated talus that would have broken off the main Santa Lucia bank. And so in this particular dive, we're going to be, I think, hoping that we'll come to some sort of steeper areas, which should have larger rock ridges that we'll be able to explore.
And the area we're going to be diving on is, we may not be able to see this from the ROV video, but we're going to be in the vicinity. We're going to be diving around a fault scarp, which is.
I was just slowing down.
A fault scarp is an offset on the seafloor where one side of the fault has moved vertically and horizontally with respect to the other side. We can see it in the map that we have in the dive plan, but we probably won't be able to see it during the dive. We're at 715 meters. We have about another 200 meters to go before we get to the bottom.
Still no bottom on the sub-bottom profiler yet.
Hey, crank up the gain some.
Which is the gain?
So there's a high frequency and a low frequency one.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two sets of gains up there.
Yeah.
See, and then there's also a I forget what it's called, signal to noise or dynamic range. I don't remember
Is this the, oh, that's
You should
low.
have like some background clutter.
Yeah, yeah. We want the high frequency gain.
Is the range set to 200 meters?
Yeah.
And we're not getting anything?
Yeah. I think
Interesting.
the gain's just down too low. We're all right.
Gotcha.
You don't have to see it at 200.
Yep.
So I just doubled the gain.
I think you gotta go
Is
to
there
town on it. But are you on the right one?
high frequency, this top one?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think, but I don't know.
I'll just,
Is that the gain?
yeah.
What's the other one?
Gain, sensitivity,
Yeah, sensitivity, you gotta go the opposite direction.
decrease sensitivity.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're on the bottom one there. Yeah.
Delta's a little high right now. Is that okay?
Oh,
That's because I was lateraling over and slowed way down. And I'll just crank it way down. All right, just
you know,
I'll let you catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're seeing more of what, you know.
I still don't see a bottom signal.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe there.
Yeah. But you could, which one did you crank on?
Hold on 1 second. Oh, now I'm way below you.
Yeah. Trying to catch up.
Yeah, there's our 100 meters.
You should start seeing Doppler hits like at 80 or something.
I'll stop 30 meters.
Okay.
That was a nice jelly.
Yeah.
All right, 9-10 meters. Looks like we're starting to get some bottom readings on the sonar.
Should I come down a little bit more?
No, that's all right. Okay. Let me get under you and then we can come down together.
Looks like we've got a ledge bob up in Herc, or is this just normally what the bottom looks like?
Oh, that's our slope.
That is our slope, perfect. And I think we're looking at bottom now.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, shore side, we'll just get set up with our systems and white balance. And then we'll start.
Roger that.
We're at 921 depth, a little shallower than we.
Go auto head.
Auto heading?
Yeah.
Go on and come around to
Oh,
04.
I gotta get more in the center of the picture. Did you reset?
Not yet.
Oh. You gonna do that?
Yeah, let me get dead rack set up. All right, let's do a DVL reset here. Let me clear these trails too. See where we are. Okay. That's looking good. Maybe a little off. How about here? One more time, okay?
Yep.
Give that a whirl.
last two.
Looks like we've got a current for sure.
Okay, what's our bearing?
Do we want to do white balance?
Yeah, I gotta get on
Yep.
the bottom.
Okay. The eventual bearing will be
Okay, going down.
that's not making any sense.
I think we need a point east.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll eventually be going 058.
There's the bottom.
Mm.
I haven't heard anyone talk in a while. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we can.
We can hear you.
Yep.
I think we're all traumatized.
Here, you get that out.
I'm still not hearing.
You're not hearing? This is Al speaking to you from Nautilus on SPL. Hello. Uh-oh. Let's see. Don't see any reason. Shouldn't.
Al, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me back?
Okay, I can hear you all too, and Di, so I'm just writing in the science chat to let her know that we can hear her.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she hasn't logged off, so we still have her.
Ship's doing a slight heading change to 340.
Is that good?
I think so.
You're going to have to tilt up a little bit. There you go. Technically, 20%, but this is good. All right, black balance first. Nope. Well, that's funny. I've got Di. I don't have Abby. You logged off, I assume? Oh, she can't hear.
I'm still here. Di said she was going to log off and log back on again.
Really? That's funny. I have Psi 3B.
Hello, hello. Anybody there?
Hi, Di. It's Al. And white balance is good. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Ready to stow the armor? Need the colors?
So, hello, Di. Are you
Hmm.
there? Can you hear me? You know what? I'm going to speak on Nautilus also. Hello, this is Al on Nautilus.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, okay, that's right. Abby, you're sci-5. I have you.
I've got the left green button. The left green bars are wide, and the red columns are wide. The talk
Right?
columns are wide.
Yep.
And I can see white, them lighting up white like
Or
someone's
hydraulics off to
talking,
the
but
arm.
I can't hear anyone.
Yep.
Huh.
You can't hear
I
anyone.
was hearing things fine
Your
until just
speaker's
recently.
muted. Please, Abby, let her know her speaker somehow is muted.
Well,
On the chat or Steve?
we could, someone could talk to me via the chat and we could proceed with the speaker is muted somehow. How's that?
That's better. How's that?
Nope.
No? Hello. I'll keep talking. So you can hear eventually when you can. Click something eventually somewhere down the road you'll be able to hear me. We're looking at the bottom right now. I see a star and a crescent. It's probably like a sponge. I'm not sure if I'm looking up or down.
Want to give me a junk zoom?
Well,
Junk zoom coming up. And again, I'll keep
while
speaking.
I work on this, if oh, there's a nice deep sea soul.
Yep. And then
Someone's probably already said that because I can't hear. And mushroom coral right in front of us. Got some nice cobbles here.
Steve, can you ask science if we can start the transect?
That's a nice zoom on the deep sea soul. And are the lasers on? They can be off for the zoom, but we want to make sure they're on when we start the transect. And since I'm sort of talking but can't hear back, you'll have to forgive me while I work on that. But when we're ready, I think we can start a transect upslope.
Got him?
We're ready to start a
headed
transect on
to
the ship too.
Waypoint 3B. So it'd be a straight upslope transect at constant speed, height above seafloor, just like you've been doing very nicely. And we'll see what we see, and I will work on getting my hearing back.
Alrighty. Pilots, are you ready for a transect?
I'm ready.
Yep.
Zooming out. Square up and I'll give you a junk zoom.
I'm going to mute so I can type into the chat.
Okay. Somebody let her know in the chat that Rosie the cat may have unplugged something.
I'll let her know. Was it Daphne?
I didn't get the bearing.
Daphne's the other
bearing
one?
Bearing 060.
Our cats have some fans here on the ship now. We saw pictures. Watching the dive.
We're going for 200 meters. Lasers on, perfect. Good to go.
Sam, can you let me know when you're starting the translate?
Sure can.
Thank you.
And I'll ask Bob to let us know when he's moving. The ship move has started.
Okay.
Wow, there is a bit of a current, huh?
So it looks like we're in some cobble with lots of solus, little holothurians. There's a little soft coral there, Petropolypus. It's the one that looks like a little mushroom. A deep sea sole. And quite a few sponges by the look of it. I saw some postolastra just before. And there's a pyrosome floating by.
All right, I think we can start it now.
Ocean exploration for the visually
Started.
impaired.
Go.
Shout out for Di. Do you hear us yet?
Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I don't know what changed, but I'm glad to be back.
I'm glad to have you back.
That was mysterious.
Oh, little snailfish.
Oh, that looks like a little snailfish. Yeah. Oh, good. All right.
Would you call this habitat cobble covered with sediment dye?
Yeah. Yeah. Cobbles and some larger rocks with some sediment, but obviously things are able to attach. There's often a thin veneer of sediment over hard substrate. There's another mushroom coral.
Yep,
Abby, do you
brittle
see
stars.
anything you need to collect here so far? Since I couldn't hear.
Well, I've just been kind of looking at the sponges. I think I saw some Postoastra just before, which are those kind of shelf, the one that also looked like a little crescent, growing sort of plates coming out from the cobble. I think if we just get a zoom on some of the, oh, there's a big sea pen there. A zoom on some of them once we're off transect.
Okay, it looks like we have started the transect. Sorry, I couldn't hear, but I see that Steve has said we've started at 040930. So I'll record that and we'll proceed. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for carrying on without when I couldn't hear.
We heard you. We can just can't. I guess you can't hear us, or can you hear us now?
Well, now I can. So
okay.
Somehow something happened, and we're good now.
One of the cats plugged something back in.
The hamster's running on the wheel again?
Yeah. No hamster here.
Hamsters kind of fell out of style lately as pets. I don't know too many people who have hamsters these days.
I wonder why that is.
Chinchillas are more popular.
Really?
Yeah.
Apologies to the analyst team who has to look at this later and listen to us.
The Nea sponge.
Was that the kind of tubular one?
The stick?
So
no, that.
Is that
go ahead, Abby.
I was looking at the sea pen. So the Thanea sponge is the one that looks like it's the one that has a brown. It looks like almost button shaped, and has a brown ring of spicules around the edge, and the inside is white, and it kind of has this like volcano-like oscula coming up at the middle, and it's one that people on our team call the hairy monk because it looks like a kind of monk's tonsil with the bald bit in the middle and the spicules around the edge.
That's right, very recognizable.
What is it?
I don't know. On the left next to that sponge, almost looks like an egg case.
Egg case? Yeah,
Yeah.
it could be skate.
Go ahead, Bridge.
Hagfish coming up.
They're going to mess us up. Mess us up.
This looks like a different type of sponge coming up here that I don't recognize. Maybe, is that a tiny little coral growing next to it?
Said it was ship heading, not bearing, right?
Yeah, but it moves the stern over.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll definitely shift the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm quite happy just to do a little recce going up here and just get the lay of the land and see what we're coming across. Just look like are they little Paragorgia, just single stalks.
Yeah, I'm going to mute for a minute to type in the transect log.
With these solar sea cucumbers attached to these rocks. Oh, that's interesting. So that little green sponge there, I believe is one of those little Latranculia sponges, which kind of nicknamed moon sponges. It has some interesting medicinal properties. Maybe a tanner crab. And I think we're seeing some other sea pens too that oh, actually it could be Lithanema anemones.
Now, who is this we're coming up upon? The coral.
That was a